Hi guys, Jessica here. We also have Ali on the video.
Hi, everybody.
So we're just doing a really short presentation on something that's quite dear to our hearts, and we find that it might be useful for you during this quarantine time and even after that, about mental health. So we've put together a presentation that I'll pull up right now, and hope this is useful for you guys. All right. So why mental health? So mentalhealth.gov explains that mental health is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So it includes all those three, and it affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. So do you think it's kind of important for our work, how we're acting, and even for our lives and life in general, and our family, and how we want to show up in the world? I think so. And therefore it really creates a huge impact for us. It also determines how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life. So this might even be useful for not only yourselves, your loved ones, and also your kids. So moving on to our next slide. How can stress impact you during these times, right? So we have a lot of things going on in the news, a lot of fear and worry about our own health and the health of our loved ones. A lot of change. There's one thing that's just a constant is change. Change in sleep patterns or eating patterns. I know I've been eating a lot. My mom called me yesterday and she goes, Jessica, are you being careful on what you eat? And I'm of course lying, going, yeah, of course. She's like, because every time I call you, you're eating. Right, Ali? We were talking about it earlier. So difficulty sleeping and concentrating, worsening of chronic health problems, increased use of tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs. And another thing that could really, and this is from the CDC, one of the things that could also impact is our immune system. And right now what we want to do is keep our immune system high and stay healthy and stay well and feel good. So that's why we're doing this little presentation for you. So one of the things I've noticed in terms of mental health is the meaning we attribute to things, right? There are things we can change and there's things that we can't change. Right now, coronavirus, or even the fact that we have to have our kids at home, certain things like that, just we can't really change. But there are other things that we can. And so we're going to be focusing on those things. So Tony Robbins talks about the triad, and triad can help you manage your emotional state, whether you're feeling really crappy or whether you're feeling really great, independent of what's going on out in the world or even at home. I loved, there was the story about how that illustrates this point really well that I love. It's how, there are two things that are actually influenced by temperature, right? The temperature in your house, in your apartment, or even in your car. You have a thermometer that reads the temperature in the room, right? If it's cold, temperature is low. If it's hot, temperature is high. Or you could have thermostat, right? The thermostat is telling the heating system or the environment what temperature it should be. So when you walk into a room that is cold, you're going to put the thermostat up warmer so you're feeling warmer. And it's the kind of the same thing in our environment, right? Have you ever walked into a room where you're maybe feeling a little down or not really great, and you go to a party or you go to a friend's place and you automatically feel amazing because they have decided not to be a thermometer but to be thermostat. So I love this story, and it's like, are we going to be letting everything that's going on in the world, our environment, impact how we're feeling and our emotional state, or are we going to decide to take charge of our own emotional state? And you may say like, oh, that's really nice, Jessica, but how do I do that? So one of the things that Tony Robbins talks about with his triad is there are three ways you can impact your emotional state. And ideally using the three of them really will automatically change your state. First is your focus. What you focus on grows stronger in your life, right? Everything you start focusing, if I take a lens that's green and blow it up, everything's going to be more green. If I take something that's a lens that's red, everything's going to be more red. So how am I looking at things, right? Am I looking at the positive side of things? Am I looking at what I can change? Am I looking at what possible impact I can have that's positive? Or am I looking at all the bad things, consuming all this negative and like news constantly without balance? What is it that am I doing that's feeding my anxieties, right? Then there's another thing. There's our physiology. So our physiology will change our state. So you could feel down, like Tony calls it like the 2 millimeter shift, where you could take 2 millimeters and put it right here on your sternum. If you lift it 2 millimeters, and you could see people as soon as you go down 2 millimeters, you see my state has changed. You can notice it in people's body language. So sometimes just jumping around, creating jumping jacks, of just making a radical change in your physiology will automatically change your state. So what can you do on a daily basis is looking at your physical activity, your nutrition, and your sleep. And then the third part of the triad is language. What is the meaning you're creating? Not only in the words you're speaking out loud, the words you're speaking with friends, with colleagues, with loved ones, but also the language in our head. We all talk in our head. We all have this little voice inside of us, and it could be a voice of positive change, of a positive influence, or it could be a little, negative Nancy or Sally, whatever that term is, where it keeps like giving you all these fears and feeding onto that. So looking at your focus, your physiology and the language will definitely determine what kind of emotional state you're in. And if you're in a high emotional state, you are going to be impacting the ones that you love and care about and creating better results. I have never seen anybody make good choices in a crappy emotional state, in a fear state. Good choices, good decisions, moving forward, good plans, being creative, all happen when you're in a good emotional state. So first, look at your emotional state and then make those choices. So I kind of came up with this like emotional checklist that's pretty cute. A few people out there use it. And it's basically a little check-in. You could have it posted on your fridge or in the bathroom. And every time you go brush your teeth or you go for breakfast or for lunch, or even just before a meeting, right? Right before you do a call with a doctor or before going to bed or first thing in the morning, is check where you're feeling. What are you feeling? And it's like an emotions checklist, and you can tell, oh, today I'm feeling like this at this time. And then 3 hours later you check, and have you gone up or down? What can you do then to shift that emotion? So in order to shift, we create this, what we call a wellness menu. And Allie's going to get into more details with this. What I love about a wellness menu, and it might seem so basic for you right now, you're like, okay, this is boring. Yes, because you're feeling good. And if you're feeling not so good, if your emotional state is below that neutral, on that checklist is below that neutral level, then you will not have as much creativity. We don't have as much creativity as what is it that's going to get me out of this emotional state. If you are in the practice of practicing the triad and radically changing your physiology, changing your language, breaking your pattern, then yes, you'll be able to easily. But if you're not used to it, looking at your wellness menu that's just sitting there or putting up on the computer, it'll be much easier. And there's 4 ways that you can shift your state and use the tools to support you. So you have emotional tools, physical tools, spiritual tools, and intellectual tools. Emotional tools could be calling a friend, giving a cry, crying, or shouting into a pillow, or laughing, watching a comedy show. Physical tools could be taking a bath, working out, running, or doing some yoga, jumping jacks, whatever it is that physically that you love doing physically. Spiritually, it could be pray, meditate. Here it says going to a place of worship. Right now we can't do that, but I'm sure there's YouTube groups, there's live channels, there's a lot of Zoom meetups that are spiritually based. So depending on what works for you. If you're not spiritual at all, then don't even consider this category. An intellectual category, so you can read, you can journal, you can help others strategically. That's what we do in our work. I love getting off a call with a doctor as a CSM and supporting them, finding strategies on how to even have an online event or how to plan for their marketing once everything kind of goes back to normal. You can play some intellectual games. So it's up to you to really just fill those blanks and see what really works for you. And we've actually prepared some of that. Allie did an amazing job, researching for this. And she's going to be going through some next slides with some tools that you can add to this wellness menu. So take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's hanging in there during this crazy time. As Jessica mentioned, we really wanted to pull together some tools that you can use for this wellness menu. The first one we really wanted to talk about was meditation. A lot of people are feeling really anxious during this time, a little bit more than usual. Some of you might be anxious all the time, but meditation is a really great tool that you can use to help improve those feelings. So right now, as this slide is mentioning, we really can probably all use a wellness retreat right now. You have to get creative on ways to relax. So we've pulled together some apps that you can download on your phone. Some of them are free and some of them do come at a small cost. The first one I wanted to talk about is Calm. So Calm is an app. It is about $70 annually, but it does come with a 7-day free trial if you're interested in trying this out. And this basically offers a daily calm, which helps you locate that meditation spot and soothes anything that you have going on, anxiety, stress, or bad habits. The second one is called Headspace. This is actually a favorite of Austin Monroe. He's been trying to get me to download this for months, and I recently just did. This is really great for busy people like we all are. It gives you those 5-10 minute options that you can use just, again, to relieve some of that anxiety and stress that might be going on in your life. This one does come, it's about $13 a month, but again, it also comes with a 7-day free trial, so you can give it a shot. Aura is another one that's for those really busy people where you barely have enough free time. And this comes, again, it's about $60 for a year. No free trial on this one, but this is a really great one that can help you, if you're on a plane, you're having an anxiety attack before a date, something like that, just those 30-second anxiety busters, this app can really help you with. The last one is called Smiling Mind. This one is really great because it's free. This one was developed by psychologists and educators, and it really offers a large variety of options for people of all ages. So this could be great for your kids as well, for those parents out there that may be seeing disruptions to their child's everyday activities. The next thing that we wanted to talk about was this amazing asset that's at our fingertips from Hologic. It's called the Healthy Living Portal, and currently we do still have access to this. So we just wanted to bring this to your attention. If you have not visited this previously, Michelle Day talks about this a lot, but it really has a lot of great points that you can use. So make sure you visit this when you get a chance. We provided a link at the bottom for you as well. The next thing we wanted to bring to your attention was some exercise apps. As Jessica mentioned, obviously staying active and taking a walk outside, doing your normal exercise routine is going to help you kind of keep out of the funk that's happening throughout the world today. So these are just a couple popular apps that we wanted to bring to your attention. The first one is the Peloton app. This is actually my favorite. I do own a Peloton bike, and I know a lot of the Cynosure employees out there have one as well. But what a lot of people don't know is that even if you don't have a bike, you can actually download this app. And not only are there spin classes, there's actually running classes, stretching, meditation, yoga. There's a huge opportunity out there to download this app and use it to your best advantage. Another one is Fitbit Coach. So this one actually connects with your Fitbit. A lot of people are Fitbit activists, so feel free to download this one as well, and it connects directly with that application. Another one that I've been seeing all over the place on social media is OB, and it stands for Our Body Electric. So this one is offering more sculpt, power, dance, and HIIT classes for people out there that kind of like that route for exercise. And then the last one is Trail Run Project. I thought this one was really cool. This kind of gives you maps of all the outdoor running trails that are in your area so that you can get some fresh air and you can get outside. You're not stuck inside your house running on your treadmill. Sometimes people that can be a little bit boring and mundane. So this is a really cool app that just gives you information on your local area. One other thing that I wanted to mention, I mentioned this to all the CSMs earlier this week, but Skype for Business. This is a resource that we all have on our computers, and it's a really great way to connect with any Cynosure employee in any department, whether it's finance, marketing, sales, everybody has access to this. You can use your regular Cynosure login for this. I just recommend at the bottom of your desktop, type in Skype for Business, and it will pop right up and you can log in. It's a great way for you to instant message with your colleagues, share screens, ask questions that pop up, and you can also video chat really easy from your desktop with this tool as well.
And another resource that we pulled up is people to follow, right? Sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas, as I mentioned, and be creative. So these are a few that I put together that I personally enjoy. Now, feel free to just Google it and see it's like topics that you are passionate about or that you're interested in that you will know will be nice sources of information. I feel like it's great to be watching the TV and the news right now to stay aware and up to date to what's going on, but also you want a balance of what you're getting your information is from. I find that in the US, specifically in the US compared to where I'm from in Europe, the news is very sensationalized. Is that how you say it, Ali?
Yes.
Where it's all very like, oh, breaking news and da da da, and it's like it can be a little stressful. Personally, I'm very sensitive to that, and I can feel my energy like getting drained a lot when I watch the news. So I like to balance it with other people who also have amazing things to say that are all around my growth and also even about what's going on today. And I love Marie Forleo. She's incredible. I love her book, Everything is Figure Outable, especially for right now. It's not even a word, she came up with it. So you can figure out anything at any time. And so she's very inspirational in that way. Tony Robbins, a big mentor of mine since, God knows how long. I love Brene Brown and her perspective on how to be a great leader and how to, daring and power of vulnerability. She's got amazing TEDx talks that are incredibly inspirational. Same with Simon Sinek. I don't know how to say his last name. He's got an incredible TED talk that went viral, and it's all about your why. Like, why are you doing? And it's incredible. Like today, we just had Dr. Quibel's first webinar, and she was talking about how she's recommending doctors to find like, what's your why? Like, what are you doing? What's really important to you? And I think it's great for us, even on our position in our work, like what has been working, what hasn't been working, and then also help the doctors find their why. So it's a great refresher. And then take your control of your life with Mel Robbins. I love Mel Robbins. She's very raw and down to earth, and a lot of fun too. So these are a few that I picked out, but feel free to Google and look. And I really recommend you balance the sources of information that you're getting.
One other thing that Jessica and I really wanted to touch on is parents. Obviously, us as adults are going through this. We're going through it with work. And we're dealing with it in our own ways. But something we just wanted to mention is that your children are probably suffering through some issues as well, whether it's a lack of understanding, whether they don't know what to do with themselves, burning energy, whatever it may be. It can come through in multiple aspects. So excessive crying, returning to behaviors that they've outgrown, excessive worry, difficulty concentrating or paying attention, maybe during some schoolwork activities that you're trying to do with them, unexplained headaches, body pain, avoidance of activities that they may have enjoyed in the past. There's just a few symptoms that we wanted to bring to your attention. And we also wanted to show you some ways that you can kind of get around these. So we've listed a few things that you can do to cope. Obviously, taking time with your child to talk about the COVID-19 outbreak is very important, answering any questions that they have. There's a link here as well with specific facts that you can look at and share with them if you'd like. We also want to make sure you're reassuring them that everything's safe and that everything is going to be okay. Limiting the news exposure, as Jessica mentioned, obviously the news can be very overwhelming and very dramatic. This is a serious issue, but limiting the exposure to them, both on TV and on social media, can help assist with these problems. Also, keeping up with your regular routines. That's really important. We talked about meditation and exercise for us, but I think implementing that with your children as well can be extremely important. And then lastly, just being a role model. You want to take breaks, get plenty of sleep, exercise, eat well, connect with your friends and family members over Zoom video chat. All those things are really great to do with your kids as well. We provided a couple of links here that are online activities for kids that they can do virtually. So we included some science experiments, some museum tours. Scholastic Learn at Home is actually a resource that you can do by grade level. So if you have multiple children at different ages, this is a great resource. Cosmic Kids Yoga is awesome. National Geographic for Kids, this you can kind of explore the world through games and videos, which is great as well. Rivet is a free reading app with different books for different levels of kids. And then lastly, Quizlet is actually a more is more focused on high school kids. So if you have older kids that are trying to complete their lesson plans or do something for school or just keep busy, there's options for kids of all ages.
Awesome. And just to conclude our presentation, thank you so much, Ali. That was amazing. Is, start and end your day right. It's really easy when you're working from home or remotely. The first few days, maybe it was easier. And then as you get along, it's like we're staying in our pajamas, or we're kind of, the days become nights, the weekends become the weekdays. It's really hard to separate things, and it can become energetically very draining and hard. And I think that this makes a huge difference. I'm not even the only one thinking that. There's research that shows that even for before I was at Cynosure, I had my own business, and I did work from home mainly, and it does show that you increase your productivity, your wellness, and your mental health 100% by doing these little habits. So first thing, start and end your day right. Create these habits. So don't check your phone first thing in the morning, even on normal times. Otherwise, you're living other people's agendas, right? You really want to create your morning routine, whatever that is. It may be just getting up, having my coffee, journaling, or saying hi to my kids, seeing them off to school, or walking my dog. Personally, I don't check my phone. I walk my dog. I meditate for 20 minutes. I have this I am cards, this intention card for the day, and then I check my phone. And if you want to be, I need to check my phone at 7 a.m., fine, wake up at 6:30. Make sure that you have your me time, your own morning routine. And then during this time where we're all feeling a little maybe disconnected, we're talking about social distancing. Really what it is, it's physical distancing and social connection. So check in with your loved one, check in with who you really care. Like Ali said, you could use Zoom conference to do happy hours. We were talking about that, and how we're all kind of doing happy hours, on virtual happy hours on the computer. So take the time for that. And again, as both of us mentioned, use in moderation, balance the information you're consuming, healthy food and exercise. There are a ton of exercise programs, the ones that Ali shared, but even on YouTube, you can find those. Having a gratitude list, I love this one. I use it even on normal times, especially right now. I love doing that. If you are at home with others, you can go around the table at dinner and just say, what I love and appreciate about you is, and say one or two things, and then go around the table. If you're alone, then do it about yourself. Have a gratitude journal where what are you grateful for? What are you grateful about yourself? And also disconnect before going to sleep. I feel like a lot of us even go to sleep. I've caught myself doing that. I'm not at home right now. I ran away from New York City. And I have a TV in my room, and the other night I fell asleep watching the news. I mean, seriously. So really disconnecting before going to sleep, maybe reading a book, connecting to things that will make you feel good. Look at that wellness menu. And yes, and again, for children, it's great to be an example. Don't say, do what I say and not what I do. No, do what I say and do what I do is the best way. So I'll just stop sharing the screen right now so we can say, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to listen to this video. I appreciate it so much, because it will not only impact your life, also those that you love and our customers as well. If you're feeling great, it doesn't only impact you. So, and thank you so much, Ali, for being with me on this presentation. And thanks for Austin. He's actually hiding somewhere. And thank you for getting us to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.